Hello, good morning. What a beautiful way to start a Saturday. You know what? I used to think I was a born leader until I found out Tim Ferriss hates me. And I'll tell you why, but first a little background. My claim to fame is that I'm the world's youngest matchmaker. I hooked up my mom and my stepdad when I was just 4 years old. I'll never forget it. It was a hot, sunny day in the middle of July. Kids were running around the playground with no focus, being kids. We lived in a complex full of immigrant families, and my mom and I had just arrived to Canada from Italy, where I had spent the last year learning Italian from nuns. So I'm on the playground, and I don't speak a word of English, and it's my turn to go next on the swings. I'm standing there in my little Afro puff, like, ragazzi, ragazzi. Hey, guys. Except none of the other kids speak Italian, so it's not working. I'm standing there trying to figure out, how am I going to get on that swing? And just when I think it's not meant to be, a Romanian man who saw this go down, understood a little of what I was saying, and sees my frustration, steps in, and ask the kids if I can have a turn on the swings. I look at the kids, then I look at the dude, and then a little boy in a bright red Astro Boy t-shirt graciously cedes one of the swings to me. Filling up with joy, I looked up at that Romanian man, and in that moment, he was my biggest hero. Every time I saw his car pull up or saw him walking around the complex, I would go out of my way to run over to him, say hello, and wave aggressively at him. Next time we were out and about, I introduced my mom to that guy whose Italian sounds funny, and before long, I'd gained a stepdad. That's right, he and my mom fell in love, got married, and I became the world's youngest matchmaker. And in the midst of mom and my new dad getting together, my English began to improve at a faster rate than both of my parents, so I became the official translator of my household well before first grade. And because my parents relied so much on my English, I played a significant role in my household from a young age. So much so that my mom used to tell me all the time that I was a born leader. And what do born leaders do when they graduate university with a bilingual Bachelor of Arts? They become entrepreneurs. Armed with a new business partner, a loan for my startup, and a lifetime of pats on the back from my mom, I'm ready to start a world-changing company. I had my real estate license and I was selling houses, but I also had a $1 million idea that couldn't fail. My business partner landed a spot on a Tim Ferriss show highlighting startups, kind of like Shark's Tank or Dragon's Den. His podcast has over 100 million downloads. So when I say that getting a spot on the show was a big deal, I actually mean that getting a spot on the show was a monumental deal. This was going to launch our company into the stratosphere, and I told every single person I knew to tune in. The big day arrives, our company gets its moment in the spotlight, and Tim Ferriss, in front of hundreds of thousands of people, says, this business is going to fail, and you should. Camera angles began darting to other participants for their reactions, and comments from viewers were streaming into the chat, but I couldn't focus on it. I was mortified. The man who runs one of the most downloaded podcasts on the planet just said in front of everyone that my company sucked. And if I'm being honest, he was right. I was so embarrassed I couldn't leave my house for a week. I held on stubbornly to the company for months, but eventually the truth sunk in. Brené Brown says, clarity is kindness. Feeding people half-truths and bullshit to make them feel better is almost always about making ourselves feel more comfortable. At this point, we were out of money, publicly embarrassed, and my business partner desperately wanted out. So we closed up shop, and I completely shut down. Looks like I'm not a born leader after all. I go back to my day job feeling very small and starting again from less than zero, because now I had a $60,000 business loan to pay back on top of other expenses we had incurred. And I got really gun shy. I didn't want to take any risks. I wanted to go back to selling real estate and playing it safe. And as I'm going about my life in the safe zone, I meet this guy. Loading. A young man named Calvin, whose parents are immigrants from Hong Kong, don't speak much English, and work below minimum wage jobs. And when I met him, Calvin was working 2 jobs for just over 80 hours a week. So he had spent the last 5 years, from the age of 15 to 19 years old, saving every penny he earned so that he could buy a condo as an investment to help his parents retire one day, because he knew that they wouldn't be able to do it on their incomes. And I don't know what possessed me, because I don't normally hire my clients, but I asked Calvin to come work with me, and he said yes. All right then. We post some pictures on Facebook, we talk about how fun it is to work together on Instagram, and before you know it, I'm introduced to this young lady. Lorianne has been on her own since she was 14 years old. Her mom was an alcoholic when she was growing up, and her dad was never in the picture. She's now a single mom of a beautiful little girl, and she wanted a better life for her daughter than she'd had growing up. She reaches out to me and she says, "You train real estate agents, right?" And I'm like, "Well, I work with Calvin." She says, "I'm in." All right then. I'm sharing these stories with you because here's the thing. As we moved through working and collaborating together, it hit me. Calvin and Lorianne were relying on me. And not in a working with my clients kind of way. That was my day job, and I was comfortable with that. These guys were relying on me to step up and make business decisions for their careers in a stable livelihood kind of way, in an I need to feed my family kind of way. And I could hear Tim's voice again. "This is going to be a failure. You should quit now." I really, really wanted to quit. I wanted to tell them that they were better off on their own. But that 4-year-old little girl who was always speaking for her parents came out. I told my husband, Greg, how I was feeling. I am not ready for this kind of responsibility. I clearly can't do this. Remember Tim Ferriss? I don't know what I'm doing. And Greg, being the ever-calming presence that I needed, gave me this quote from Carol Dweck. "Becoming is better than being." He said that if I was going to properly serve people, I would have to transform my feelings of fear and insufficiency into learning and betterment. Ha! He's right. He always knows like the exact right thing to say. How does he do that? With that, together, we started our new company. And instead of leading from a top-down 20th century style, which is what I used to think when I thought about leadership, this time I would embrace my vulnerability, and I would lead through heart in a kind of super vulnerable leadership hot mess. As Darren Hardy puts it, everyone is a leader in some aspect of their lives. And just like any other subject, leadership skills are teachable and learnable. On my team, we practice a culture of leaders training leaders, and I'm proud that we've built an organization that employs people across 5 different countries and ages from 19 to 75 years old. In order to build, I had to become a student. I sought out those who had done what I wanted to do, and I asked them to teach me. I attended leadership masterminds and spoke to hundreds of team leaders across North America, and I studied their operations and applied the best of their strategies fast and furiously. The team adopted a collaborative approach, which left space for feedback loops, testing, and revamping. And with every building block, I was leaning further into my space of leadership. It actually, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, becomes unavoidable. In his hierarchy of needs, Maslow describes the state of self-actualization, which in simple terms, it's being on your absolute A game. And one of the inherent needs of those on their A game is to focus outside of themselves and share expertise with others. For Maslow, it's inextricably inextricably part of the human experience. You're destined to do it. And I want to share with you 3 things that you can apply today to be a more effective leader. Number 1, adopt a learning mindset. Work that problem-solving muscle. You can't be an expert at everything, but you can become an expert problem solver. A friend of mine used to say, a really good friend of mine used to say, if you're the smartest person in a room, you're in the wrong room. So go be the dumbest person in the room. You'll learn so much this way. Success leaves clues. Number 2, lead through your unique superpower. I didn't want to lead others because I felt vulnerable about past failures, but I was really good at my job. It's the whole reason Calvin agreed to work with me in the first place. I had to stop worrying about what I wasn't good at and focus on sharing what I was good at, like building systems, training, and marketing. And you know what? My team accepted my flawsomeness because at the end of the day, we're always going to be a work in progress. Becoming is better than being. Number 3, shut up and listen. As a leader, you should have more questions than you have answers. Learn to really listen. I know you're a natural-born genius. I see you. I get it. But a real leader is invested in the growth of their team or their family or anyone else they seek to serve. Shut up and listen is so ingrained in the culture of our organization that we actually have a tool on our phone systems that measures how much we're talking versus how much our clients are talking. And if we're talking anything more than 20% of the time, it means we're not listening. So don't be afraid of problems. Learn to go after the solutions. Learn to go after the solutions. Even if you doubt yourself, understand that you don't have to know everything to share the gifts and the skills that you do have with someone else. We're used to thinking of leaders as brave people called upon by destiny to show greatness and rule with impudence. Hear stories of how they were as kids and how they were born that way. But I've learned the hard way that it's simply not true. I'm not a born leader, but I am a learned leader. Leaders are made, they are taught, not born. And today, Calvin and Lorianne are both leaders on my team, and they share their unique superpowers with others who are learning from them. I get emails all the time from agents who want to step into their own place of leadership, and I'm honored to share team-building tools and leadership skills with them. Close your eyes for a minute. Take a deep breath. Picture someone who already looks up to you for something that you're good at. Whether it's teaching your kids how to cook, a friend who looks to you for guidance, or 2 adults who need help from the world's youngest matchmaker to fall in love. Now open your eyes. You're already leading in some way. And if that idea terrifies you, I leave you with this, your new war cry. Be the dumbest person in the room. Lead through your unique superpower. And when all else fails, shut up and listen.